Now this brings us to the realm of science for a moment, as to what is there and what we have to do about it. Science is working very hard to split atoms and do all kinds of interesting and phenomenal things, like putting people on other planets. That's very part of a nice little game that science plays. But there are other things that are more important. It's very important for science to realize that the very world in which he functions is a world of infinite energy, and that the only thing that is proper to knowledge is to find out what that energy wants. Because if it was wise enough to create us in the first place, it can probably tell somebody who listens where we're going in the second place. If we are able to use science to solve the mysteries of our own ignorance, it could be a very wonderful thing. If we could use science not to produce more and more contraptions to confuse us, but to straighten out our thinking so that we know that 2 and 2 makes 4, instead of 2 and 2 making great fortunes somewhere. We need to have a clear line by means of which science, discovering the vibratory pattern of life, assists all things to keep that pattern, to obey those laws, and to fulfill the destiny which those laws and those principles have intended. There is no doubt in the world that the universe wants to have a happy existence. It wants to fulfill itself. It wants to have the success that comes with achieving what is necessary for security and peace. It wants us to learn to grow without suffering, learn to keep our tempers without being frustrated, learn to face the mature experiences of living without being subjected to neurotic. The nature wants us to recognize that we grow because it is the law of existence. And if we grow happily, we are happy. If we grow fighting every step of the way, we are unhappy. If we have to decide between natural growth and television, we must learn to select natural growth. Television at the present time couldn't be much worse. They say it can be, we're just waiting. But the answer is that all this type of thing, hour after hour, waiting and sitting in front of a tube to watch things that have no meaning in the first place, or are major proofs of what's wrong. And if the proofs of what's wrong, we're not going to accept that proof anyway. But we should be doing things to learn, to help, to create, to provide. We should learn to take the energy we have in life and make it earn a destiny that is suitable. By the right use of our potentials, we grow. If we use one energy wisely, we will have a second energy given to us. If we may become master over our own dispositions on one level, we will have the strength to master them on another level. Growth is what is intended, and nature is perfectly happy for happy growth. It doesn't want miseries. But where every individual grudges everything he does right and considers ill-doing a vacation, we're going to have the same problem. But we are living in a universe of energies, absolutely impossible to violate. We are living in a situation in which we keep the rules and the rules keep us. Break the rules and the rules break us. There's no ifs, buts, and ands about it. There is no way of doing it wrong and being rewarded in happiness. So we have to look around and see what we can do. We're working with the school system. We're working with all these problems, but they're all being pointed towards the perpetuation of the present condition. There were little improvements here and there, a little better this and that, and perhaps something a little stronger in higher education. But for the substance of the thing, no change. The change is the thing that has to come, and the change is basic. We can put all the patches and all the postgraduate courses on that we want. We can build new devices, new machines, until the universe topples over from its own devices. But this will not do it. The answer is very simple. We will have to learn the simple facts of doing it right in the first place. We have to learn to use common sense and integrity. We have to use the virtues which our ancestors praised, even if they didn't keep them. We are certainly going to be forced in the next 25 years to decide whether we want to make our own mistakes and perish, or clear up our condition and survive. We are being given an opportunity for the best and most important improvement that is possible. We are in need of idealism. We will get it if we want it. We are in need of integrity. We will get it if we earn it. We can do all these things and meet the next generation, or the generations to come, with a clean slate and a clean world. We can recognize the fact that we can conserve resources, that we can control environment, that we do not need to poison the air, that we do not need to toxify all of our foods. These things are not necessary, but they represent little shortcuts to the ways of profit. And with these we're going to have trouble as long as we have them. And we'll never be able to create a government strong enough to sustain us in our mistakes. It's not possible. And then when we realize that, then we'll stop making the mistakes and do it right in the first place. Now, in our little religious world that we are living in now, our own particular little world of hopes and ideals, we find a great interest coming up. A new world is breaking for integrity. We are becoming more and more aware of the necessities of cleaning house, and more people are willing to do it. Little by little, the improvement of character is becoming something generally to be hoped for. And I've noticed in many publications that have been coming along recently, the new ideas in schooling, the new ideas in marketing, the new ideas in education. They are all working towards the solution. Now, not one of the ones I've talked with have been thinking of doing this for the sake of pleasing God. That was the old way. Now they're believing that the proof of the pudding is to please the universal plan of things.